Gaze reading where the greats drop by. Trendy authors tell us all the who, what, and why. Anyone can listen, cause we're spoiler free. Gaze reading, from Pulitzer stars to book club picks, where the curious minds can get their fix. So you say you're not gay, well that's okay. There's something for everyone. Gaze reading.
Hello and welcome to Gaze Reading. I'm your host, Jason Blitman, and in the almost 2 years that I've been hosting Gaze Reading, this is the very first time I'm recording an introduction with my husband in the room, and I'm feeling very self-conscious right now, but that's okay. We're all in this together. Each guest on today's episode is a doesn't need an introduction sort of guest, and I am elated that they are all here with me today. First up, I have Jonathan Van Ness and Julie Murphy talking about their book, Let Them Stare. And my guest gay reader today is queer icon Alison Bechdel, who shares what she's been reading, but also talks about her new graphic novel, Spent. All of their bios are in the show notes. It's fun to share that on the Gaze Reading Substack, I just dropped a Pride guide for a non-exhaustive list of my top picks for Pride. Top picks for Pride. It's a lot of plosives into the microphone. Sorry about that. The guide is free online, and if you subscribe to the Substack, you could download a PDF of the guide. So the link to that is in the show notes and also in the link tree on Instagram. So you could follow us on Instagram. We are at Gaze Reading. We're on Blue Sky. We are on YouTube. You could watch this episode over on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you're hearing, please share us with your friends. Follow us on social media. And like and subscribe to Gaze Reading wherever you get your podcasts, so you will be the first to know when a new episode drops, just like this one right now. And so all of that said, please enjoy Jonathan Van Ness, Julie Murphy, and Alison Bechdel.
It's a very small gay world.
It's a very small gay world. Speaking of gay world, I'm in Idlewild at an Airbnb right now.
Oh, what a sentence.
There has never been a gay person who has stayed in this room because the lighting would not be this.
So bad.
I'm so mad about it.
Actually,
Anyway, I'm going to talk to you both like this.
Okay. Perfect.
So welcome to Gaze Reading. I'm so happy to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks
to
for
talk
having
about your
us.
delightful, delicious novel, Let Them Stare.
Hey.
It's
By
our
Julie
debut.
Murphy and Jonathan Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Your debut together.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yes, I know, because you both are
It's like pairs
esteemed.
figure skaters and authors. Like,
Yeah.
have we skated before independently? Yes, but it's like our debut as a team.
Exactly.
As a
I was
Twins.
more along the lines of like two like divorcees coming together and having like that first child and like a new marriage. You know what I mean?
You know what's more coming up for me for some reason? I think it's because it's the end of we're on the
Tour.
tail end of our book tour.
Uh-huh.
I think what's coming up for me is like Blades of Glory, but us. And we're figure skaters and writers.
Yes.
Like, we are like novelists and Paris figure skaters. And we are just like skating the house down. And no
Yes.
one saw it coming.
Exactly.
You said recent divorcees, and my mind immediately went to First Wives Club
Oh,
and the
I felt-
finale where you're both in your white dancing down the street.
That's why
Oh my
I was so
God.
worried about your knee from this. Like, before we started recording, you guys, we learned that Julie took a little tumble. And that's why I was worried about the knee. It's like, what about our figure skating? What
The
about
figure
our
skating,
First
the
Wives Club band?
finale. I know.
We got this.
You know
Don't
what?
worry
Here's the
about
thing. My airport pickup was at 4:30 a.m. this morning. And brutal. And I almost fell like 6 times at the airport. So I knew it was coming for me.
Mm.
And at least I fell in the privacy of my own hotel room.
4:30 is, I find that anytime I have to do a car before 5 a.m. is when I feel like much ouch. I like, even if it's like after 5, it's like fine. Like, I got this. Like, after 5, it's like fine. But it's like when it's like those 3:45s, like 4:30s, it's like, ow.
No. This is a safe space.
Later.
We can be tired on Gaze Reading. It's fine.
Yay.
No, but I didn't have that early of a call today. I was
Well, Julie did.
Core.
She could be
I was
tired
trying
on
to-
the call.
I had a 9 o'clock flight, so I was just like No, I was
Nice
doing.
and
I'm
fresh.
really sorry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is on the verge of falling normal for you, Julie?
No, like
Oh,
I was just like stumbling around. Like I had like an O'Hare layover today. Also awful.
What?
ay.
A
Yeah,
connection? The plot thickens. That's
I
too
had a
much.
connection today, and I was like just stumbling around, like reading a book on my phone, and just like
Okay, well,
I know. Okay, well, this is also maybe the problem, but I like could not function. I didn't know how to have four limbs today. I just didn't.
all right. But you have a beautiful wallpaper behind you.
And the windbreaker is really
And
killing it for me
the
as well,
wind-
you guys. I don't know if we're using this video, but this windbreaker is like gorgeous.
We
God
are,
damn,
folks.
I
Head
hope
on
you're
over to
wearing this
YouTube if
right.
you're listening, and you
That
can
is
see Julie's
everything.
fabulous. Yes.
Yeah,
What does it
so-
say? What are the words on the shirt underneath?
Oh, well, I
Oh.
didn't mean to brand place, but this is my company, Bittersweet.
Who actually did this book?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Bittersweet.com, I assume. No,
Something like that.
I was
don't know.
giving you a plug.
Yeah, yeah.
Google Julie Murphy Bittersweet, everyone.
There you go.
I'm upset. So, Jonathan, we're both Aries,
Oh.
and I've been on this like astrology kick recently. I don't know why. So, Julie, I saw that you're a Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
And I was so curious to look at the professional relationship just because you guys did this fantastic Publishers Weekly article about working together. So I'm going to stick that in the show notes of this so everyone can go read about what the working relationship was like. But it says Aries and Scorpio professionals are generally well suited to work together due to their complementary strengths. Aries' energetic and enthusiastic leadership, along with Scorpio's strategic and analytical approach, can create a powerful team. And I was gagged because that's what you basically said in the article.
Oh my God. You
Ah.
guys, I'm like a recent astrological like convertee. Like I used to
It's
like
true.
look like I like because of like my ultra religious upbringing, I used to think that astrology was like a doorway for the enemy, like to come and, just like take your soul like straight to hell.
Oh.
But now I'm like, I had this like amazing astrologist on the podcast a few weeks ago, and she like, and I had one before. Like I really, I mean, I was like into it, but like
Sure.
after like Eliza, I was like, and also Chani Nichols and Eliza, both of them together, just like, but it's like Eliza was a cute, and Chani was like working me on Instagram for like not personally, but just like because I follow,
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't want to like commandeer, but like, and you can tell me to shut up, but this is like, but do you know about the whole like the difference between like your sun, your moon, and your rising?
So I only recently did my like full chart, like literally 2 weeks ago. I had a guest who was like, you have to do it right now. So I did. And she sort of like did a little reading for me. And I don't really
I'm
fully
looking at mine
understand
right
all
now.
of it, but we need to like,
I'm going to tell you in like 30
excited to
seconds
do
or
a deep
less,
dive.
just because my neurodivergence really wants me to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll just tell you guys really quick because I'm like obsessed. I just learned
tell
it,
me.
so now I want to tell
tell
everybody. Okay.
us.
So your rising, or excuse me, so your sun is like the thing that everybody talks about. So, but that's like how the world sees you. Then your moon is like, your moon sign is like how you feel on the inside. Like, right? And then your rising is like how you interpret or like relate to the world. So it's kind of like how you like, it's not because it's like
Oh.
different than how you feel on the inside. It's like how you relate
Like
to
the
like,
compatibility of you and the world.
yes. And it's like, it's
Right.
how you relate to like, the way I understood, it's like how you relate to your sun and your moon as well.
Oh, this is very helpful. Thank you.
So
Isn't
that
that interesting?
What are you?
Yes.
I was like, I'm like an Aries sun something. I forgot that. There's two already.
Yeah, I know, me too. I have it like downloaded somewhere
like-
and I'll
But I mean, I
know.
cried.
Julie,
Like
you
other
need to like you need
Okay.
you need what time you were born. It's like a whole thing.
No, I've got it. I've done this so many times. So many of my friends are like, whoa, whoa, bitches. You know what I mean? So
Well-
I've done it so many times.
JVN,
I
it's funny
guess-
you say once you had someone on the podcast is when you sort of fully converted. For me, it was the same with tarot. I was sort of like, oh,
I'm
cute.
kind of scared of that.
Well, I know I had a very positive experience, so maybe that's why. But then I had
I do
Michelle
love
T
tarot.
on the podcast, and she read my vibe check, and it like sort of changed my life.
Oh
So,
my God.
But
What was
it-
your
you-
vibe?
part of it was like, you have a lot of ideas, but
Same.
that's okay. Run with them. That was like one of the things. There were other things that were so succinct and true to that moment.
Wait, what's your birthday again?
April 6th.
Oh my God. So yeah, we really are just like, we're so Aries. Ugh.
I know. I'm like very Aries.
Yeah, so
I'm
totally.
like super Scorpio. Like,
While Julie's looking, JVN, why don't you give the elevator pitch for Let Them Stare?
yeah. Okay, sorry.
We could talk.
Fine.
We're going to take this on so many journeys, but I also want people to know about the book.
Okay,
Yeah.
actually, when I was doing a live the other day, I was like, wow, Julie, ugh, this is so embarrassing. What's that cute thing called on the inside of the flap of the book again?
The jacket?
The jacket copy.
Yeah, but like the thing that we write on it.
Yeah,
the
the jacket copy.
Oh yeah, the jacket copy. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna read the jacket copy as the elevator pitch because this is like way better than what happens to like my neurodivergence where I accidentally like say the whole like first 6 chapters. But basically, this is what it is. Sully is this like fierce, non-binary, gender non-conforming kid from Hearst, Pennsylvania, and they're like kind of giving like a more self-actualized 18-year-old version of me, like now, but like I wasn't that cool. But like I wish I would have been. And so Sully wants to get out of their hometown. At their graduation party the night before they're getting ready to leave, they deal with their last indiscretion from their family, and they kind of tell everybody to kick rocks because they're leaving this dumb little town and they never have to see any of you people ever again, as we do. But then the next day, their internship that they had like put all the eggs in that basket for gets pulled out from under them. They're stuck in their hometown with no backup plans and no money. And then the little money that they do have, they go back to their old job at a thrift store to try to like get their job back. But they find this priceless bag, which could be worth like a quarter of it. Like it's so much money no one even knows, to be honest. But it's a lot. But they can't tell if it's like real or not. And so it's like my brain is not working right now. But anyway, take it back.
They have the purse.
So they
have
get
the
this
bag.
bag from yesterday's today, and it's haunted by a drag queen from the 50s. So that's the elevator pitch.
Dot,
Haunted
dot, dot.
bag, gender
Chaos
queer
ensues.
18-year-old. It's major. We love it.
That was an
Yes.
elevator pitch. Like I only got to like floor 6. That's how fast your elevator pitch was.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, good. It was so fast that even
It's
my own
slow
brain couldn't keep
elevator,
up.
but like floor
Yes.
6 was floor,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It was crank.
But
Yeah.
oh my God. It's interesting that you say that because we were just talking about like drugs on the podcast that we like hadn't heard of for a long time. And I was like, crank. Do you remember like that
Where did
era?
crank
Like,
go?
everyone was so scared of it. And I remember
Yes.
being like
There's a
10,
book
12.
called Freak.
Yeah, just being like, oh, like what is this stuff? But I feel like no one ever talks about that anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God. Maybe it's been eradicated.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Did you get the crank vaccine?
I got the crank vaccine. He had like the
Yeah.
hookworm vaccine. So that's really good.
Woo. Thankfully. Okay. The note at the beginning. I don't know if this is in the finished copy of the book, but it's in the advanced copy. The note
It's
from
the
the two of you.
author's note in the back of the book for the finished copy.
Oh,
so
great. Okay.
it's similar.
It
Yeah.
exists, right?
Yeah.
You say that grow where you planted was sort of your mantra for the beginning, for like your whole journey. Where did that come from?
I mean, I think we both have like relationships to that phrasing from like growing up in salt of the earth places where we grew up. But in my family, that was something that my stepdad used to say to me a lot. And it just was this idea of like, wherever you go, there you are. And you can, just because you leave a place doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be better. And so I think that was something that was so important for me that I wanted to tell in this story is like, create an interesting story where like you do have a life that's even better than you thought it could be in your hometown. I always thought that like remaining in my hometown would have been like the worst thing that could happen. And my, actual story, like I did like have to move home a few times. And with each time I did it, it was not like that fun of an experience. And when I look back on it from this vantage point in my life, I missed out on some like really good moments with like grandparents and family members because I was so like yucked out by me being there. And so I just was like, how do we make it cool to like maybe not want to leave where you're from, or at least that's not like the end of the world. And I was like, I'm gotta write a fiction novel about it, about a haunted handbag.
Yeah.
Julie,
yeah.
is it the same for you?
Yeah, I think that like places for sure, but also like trying to get to this point where like I thought that my life would start if I looked like this, or I thought my life would start if I was in this kind of relationship, or if I had like these kind of belongings, if I dressed a certain way. And I don't know, just some point in my mid-20s, I just woke up and realized like, holy shit, this is it. This is what I've got. I'm like a quarter away through my life if all goes well. And this is what I have. And this could be the last day that I have any single day. And so my senior year of high school, my family lost their home, and like my life was essentially uprooted, and all of my friends went off to college and did bigger things and went to like LA or New York and all these places. And I was just stuck in Texas, and I just kept waiting for that moment. And it never came because the moment never comes. The moment is fake. It's not real.
Yeah. We're also all from places. I grew up in Florida. And so we're all from places that like you may not want to go back to.
Yeah.
For all sorts of reasons. I feel this very deeply. It's funny, not funny, but interesting that you bring up this is who you are, and why you're never going to become something different. Some BTS. This is a makeup recording. We were supposed to record a few weeks ago, and what came out of that not happening at the last minute was me having a really interesting conversation about prepping for that conversation. I felt this crazy weird need to like shower and shave and put on face cream because like I'm gonna be in front of JVN. I had this thing in my mind to do that, and then I was like brushing my teeth, being like, I should be wanting to do this for myself. I should think that I'm gonna talk to JVN every day. But right, Julie, it's sort of a version of what you're talking about, of just like, this is for me. I only have this skin. I should be putting on sunscreen every day for me.
There you go.
So it was a really interesting like mantra moment, and I talked to lots of people about that afterwards.
Yeah.
And how we do so many things for other people.
It's so true. I just have to say that Jonathan and I worked on this book for 3 years, and we had like weekly, sometimes bi-weekly Zooms, and Jonathan has seen me as a real grease ball. So
Yes,
some
that's
days
okay.
I do put on my my face for Jonathan, and I make sure my hair is like a shampoo commercial. But then also Jonathan has seen the worst of it too.
I mean, I feel I love that we're like going here, because I was like also thinking about this like random thing this morning about this very thing, which like as Queer Eye has evolved and it's like been so long, I was thinking about like when I first got the show and how I really wanted to like not do such dramatic makeovers. And I've always tried to like see beauty in people and make sure that people already knew that they like were beautiful, like, and they didn't need a makeover to be celebrated, and they like were already stunning. And I really wanted to like approach the whole paradigm of beauty in like a different way, and like a way that I hadn't seen. And even though I did that and still do that for 9 seasons, I still every day got so many people like, oh my God, I was so nervous to meet you. Because I was like, do I seem like a judgmental bitch on the show? I do try to seem really like non-judgmental, because I always want people to think that, because I think everybody's so cute.
Honestly,
but I feel that I get from people like they feel this pressure when they're like going to meet me, and I just want to go on the record and say, I always think people are so cute.
it's actually funny because
Unless you're a Republican, and then you have like,
and then you're not cute.
Negative, like,
right.
But even then, sometimes I'm like,
Well,
oh.
I was going to say, Jonathan, don't lie. Sometimes you think Republicans are cute.
But
I think they're like dead
their
sexy, like
soul
Mitt
is-
Romney, but that's a different story. Like that's just like objectively true. You know what I mean? But like I more mean like just like the kind of frumpy ones. Like I'm like, oh, like you've just been exposed to misinformation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so even because like sometimes I got to work with them, and I'm like, oh, like you're poor thing. Like you watch OAN.
I have to say it is less about feeling judged and more about like proving that I was listening.
Yes. Like I did the homework.
Yes, I listened to you when you said to trim the mustache every day. It's about
I do like that you wanted to wear sunscreen. That part's really good. So I did do my job.
Right, exactly. That's my point. It's like, I was listening. I took what you were saying and almost like a teacher, I wanted to prove myself.
And you're so cute. So you're doing so good,
Stop
Queen.
it. No, it's not about, it wasn't about judgment. It was about proving that I was a good student.
Because that's what I always worry about when people say that. I'm like, do they think that I'm going to, like, I think they're so cute. Unless you're like coming in with like full Kelly Young Conway.
Right.
Which, interesting. Where's she been? Much quieter this administration.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. But now we have like Caroline Levitt, which is like, that's like, you guys,
What?
it's like the substance. Is Caroline Levitt Kellyanne Conway on The Substance?
Oh my God.
Have we ever seen any of them in the same room at the same time?
I don't know that we have.
Yeah.
I
You're
think I'm
onto
on
something.
I'm going to write that down. I think that's funny.
Wait,
Okay.
this is a hilarious segue because I was going to say you're like Sherlock Holmes, but really what you are is like Harriet the Spy.
Jonathan.
Everyone needs to watch this on YouTube because the face that the both of you just made. Okay, so I read that Harriet the Spy, in your note, that Harriet the Spy was one of the things that you two bonded over. The amount of people that I've had on the show who have talked about Harriet the Spy as a formative experience, especially as a young queer person and how queer coded it is, blew my brain. Was that true for you?
Jonathan was the one that like brought a lot of the things we talked about were like Harriet the Spy, Now and Then, Casper. Those were like, some of like the early inspirations for this for sure.
Yeah.
I think because like that for me with Harriet the Spy is like Gully. Like Gully was like just, I mean, I always like had a soft spot for a babysitter. Like I always like loved a good babysitter, and Gully just like, oh my God, and rip our little young hearts out when Gully like leaves and like won't even come back because she has to move on to her next family.
I know. I just had Rosie O'Donnell on the show and I was like, Gully.
Wait, can I not to just, this is kind of like the meetings when me and Julie would just have been like duking it out, like super, just like the neurodivergence is just on 20, but
JVN, do not apologize for yourself.
This was just such a good story, Julie Murphy. I think you remember the day that this happened. Are you ready for this story?
I'm ready.
I wonder if you will know what it is before I tell you, unless I never told you this, in which case you won't know.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like July of 2024. I'm in Malibu. I was there, like I was like in town because like I had to like whatever. I'm in LA for like work. I go to Nobu because I never go to Nobu. Who goes to Nobu? But this one day I'm like with my husband and like me and my other best friend were like, let's go to Nobu. So we go to Nobu.
Bitch, I love Nobu. I go to Nobu.
We never go to Nobu. Like I'm like, who do I think I am? Kendall Jenner. I don't go to Nobu.
They're not sponsoring this episode.
So I look up and Ricky Lake and Rosie O'Donnell walk in right past me. And they go to sit down like 3 tables away. And like, I don't really love it. Like, I just, like, it's fine if you want to come up to me when I'm eating, whatever. Like, but like, it's like kind of, it's like when you're eating with like friends, it's like whatever. But I'm like, fuck, it's Rosie O'Donnell. Like, I'm going to have to go say hi. I'm like, not going to ask for a picture, but I'm definitely going to have to like play the like, oh yeah, I'm like that girl from that show.
Do you know what
like,
would have happened if you did ask her for a picture?
I was just too scared to get shut down.
No, do you know what would have happened?
What?
She would have said, no, boo.
Oh, thank God. So thank God I didn't ask. So I go up.
You get it, Jonathan? Nobu?
Oh my God, I don't get it. I don't get it. I didn't get it. I get it.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
In the story.
I was like, hi, like nice to meet you, whatever. So they were really nice. So then I'm walking back and I look up and I see all these like Secret Service agents around our table. And I'm like, that's like, what are all these like people talking in their wrists for? And then I turn to my right and who's standing there? Hunter Biden, honey. Hunter Biden and his like 2-year-old and that nice woman whose name escapes me, whose name I wish I knew off the top of my head.
Mrs. Hunter Biden.
Yes.
Right.
And so, yeah. So it's me, Hunter Biden, and Rosie O'Donnell, and Ricky Lake, all at Nobu on the same day in July. It was like so crazy.
Oh my
and when
God.
I left, I was like, I'm never going to be the same. Like that was the craziest lunch of all time. Like Hunter Biden, Rosie O'Donnell, Ricky Lake, all at Nobu at the same time. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. And Ricky Lake, honestly, is the one that I would be like, Rosie, love. But Ricky Lake would have had me. Just,
what was it about Ricky Lake that does it for you?
Oh, hairspray.
Yeah.
I
didn't want to assume, but we do love.
Yeah. I'm a fat girl who loves queer shit.
Right.
Hairspray.
Yeah. And did they both have their microphones at the table? Is that how and their little cue cards? Could you
They're
imagine?
just like such a cute little lunch. They were so cute.
That's so cute.
You gotta go to Nobu more often.
Yeah, you really never know who you're gonna see.
And here I am, my mouth is watering, being like, okay, what did you order? That's what I want to know. Like, who cares about the rest of it?
Do you remember like having like a really nice tea Like there was like a really
Oh.
delicious like tea. And then after like 2 of those, I was like, who am I kidding? And then I did get a cocktail. I can't remember
Oh.
what it was.
Yeah, good for
They
you.
have like this crazy crispy tuna appetizer
Ooh.
that I live and die for.
Is it like
I
on
love a
crispy
crispy
rice?
tuna.
Yes. Mm.
I think it's a crispy tuna. I don't know. It's really good. You just have to take
Okay.
me to Nobu so I can make sure that we order it. That's all.
Oh,
So that's how you find out what it is.
that's right. Food, it comes up a lot in this book. I'm obsessed.
It does.
What? There's a chili bar at Sully's graduation party. I have never been to a chili bar before. I've never had a chili bar before. What do you serve? Tell me everything. Please educate me.
There's like a build your own chili bar. Like obviously the
Yeah.
chili is like the chili is like the chili, but you have like your bowl of like cheese, your raw onions, you have like an assortment of cheeses, you have like some gorgeous crackers, you could have like some diced jalapenos.
Oh,
I also think like I love
Sour
like a
cream
baked
too.
I love like sour cream, of course. I also love like chili atop of a baked potato. Like
Mhm.
there's probably like a bowl of like baked potatoes that you could like put in the bottom of the bowl, you know, to put the
But-
chili on top of.
this is why I was asking if there's like, is there like a special secret thing? What is your family like? Cornbread? I don't.
Oh shoot, cornbread.
Listen,
Cornbread.
come on.
Oh,
I'm not messing
just
around.
moved- I just moved from Texas to Kansas last year, and I didn't expect for there to be so many like cultural differences. But the way that these people in the Midwest live and die by a crock pot, like I don't realize how many meals I was missing out on that just simmer on your countertop.
Did you get one?
Well, yeah, we have one now because like
Have you used it?
yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
haven't used it because I don't cook.
Sure.
But the people in my house have used it on my behalf.
What's your favorite crock pot meal?
Okay, so one of my friends makes like a Reuben dip. Like a
What?
yeah. And you can use the dip, just like put the dip on like a sandwich too, and just make it like a little Reuben dip sandwich thing. It's so delicious. And then
Wait,
chili.
Can you
Everybody's making
describe it? What is in the Reuben dip?
Well, everything has cream cheese in it because it's the Midwest. So there's a cream cheese base, I think. We make a lot of queso because all its
Ooh.
restaurants in the Midwest that are Mexican
I love
restaurants.
white cheese queso, like white queso in Midwestern Texas restaurants. It's like my
I
favorite
know.
food.
Mm.
Well, all the like restaurants in Kansas that have Mexican food don't have queso. They call it espinaca dip. And it's like this weird spinach artichoke queso situation, which is good. But I also miss just like regular queso. So we've made a lot of regular queso too.
Okay. I had a
Yeah.
crock pot under my desk at work for about a year.
Uh-huh.
And then I brought it home and I owned it for like 10 years. And I think I used it 3 times. So that's why I
Yeah.
ask about
Yeah.
using it.
Yes,
I like had
Harvey-
aspirations.
We had to repurchase one when we moved to Kansas because we were like, we're missing out on so much.
Wait. What happened to the first one?
I mean, we lived in Texas. We donated it. Like we
Oh,
like
no, but-
only eat hot food under duress. You know what I mean?
So you rarely used it. is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I was not alone in my rare crock pot using.
No.
We
no.
haven't been able to assimilate one into like our regular, but we wanted to, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. I don't know why. It seems
Oh,
so
gosh,
easy in
sorry.
theory. You're just so popular.
No, I thought I turned on Do Not Disturb and it's disturbing.
Siri was not listening.
No. Oh my God. I
Okay,
have
so
to,
another food item that comes up in the book that I had to know more about is a cheeseburger egg roll.
Oh yeah.
Where does that come
have you ever
from?
eaten at a Cheesecake Factory? Oh
It's
my
like-
God.
It's like very
Oh my
chilly.
God.
It's like a Southwestern egg roll, a cheeseburger egg
Yes.
roll.
I've had a Reuben egg roll before, actually, in New York.
I've never had that.
That was very good. But a cheeseburger egg roll, I have been to a Cheesecake Factory. Have I had it before? I don't know.
That really makes me want to have a lava cake now that we brought up Chili's. I really love their lava cake.
There was a Chili's in the O'Hare airport this morning and people were eating it at like 8:30 in the morning. And I was like, I could fuck it up.
What would
I
you
could do
order?
that. What would I have ordered at Chili's? This is hard, but I feel like in my heart of hearts, I would have gone for a triple dipper. You know? So boneless wings, little mini burgers, and Southwest egg rolls.
This way you didn't have to commit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if I could make every meal tapas, I would. But yeah, I love Chili's. I just
Interesting.
Like I saw a TikTok the other day of someone who had gone all the way to like Egypt and was like near the pyramids, like right on the Nile, and they found like a Chili's that you could eat at on the Nile River, and I was like, take me there. I want to go there.
Wow. I wonder if they have like a unique Egyptian menu.
I doubt it. That might make
I feel like they do. Like, you know, like McDonald's like has like slightly different like local things like all over the
Yeah.
world. Like, I wonder like what the Chili's like. I feel like they must have like a something.
What if they call the lava cake a lava pyramid?
Oh my God. I'm going to look it up right now. Chili's in Egypt. Let's see what comes up.
On the Nile.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They have an Instagram. It's Chili's Egypt official. FYI.
Amazing.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll do some exploring later.
Mouth
but
watering.
It looks
Jason,
very
we've really
similar.
just hijacked this podcast. I'm so
I
sorry.
talk about food on every episode. Don't worry. I also talk about Rosie O'Donnell on every episode.
Perfect.
So we're like on par with every other Gays Reading episode. We're fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of food, this happens in the book. We're all roughly the same age, and this is maybe me being an asshole to a younger generation, and I feel like I don't want to get stones thrown at me. The chef's kiss that everyone does right now and the heart hands, I'm like allergic to, and I don't know if it's because of when I grew up. Am I talking to the wrong people? Are you both like, no, this is, you need to assimilate?
Sometimes I like to do this.
Yeah. I do like a chef's kiss and a heart hand, but this is the millennial heart hand.
Yeah,
There's
so I do
another
this.
heart hand. Well, that, and then there's another. There you go. That's the youngins heart hand. I'm not allergic to those things, but there are things that I am allergic to.
Like what?
So I get it. Oh man, like
if you don't want to if that might cancel you, that's okay.
No, I don't care.
I might get canceled. This might be it for me.
Okay, but how pretty was this? What I did this?
It's like cute. The mask of it all is very cute, JVN. But like, I can, it's like cilantro to me. I mean, I like cilantro, but it's like cilantro to
I
other
hate
people.
cilantro.
I
just
don't like cilantro either.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
You
I don't like
This is cilantro
cilantro.
to me.
They just
But I
give you
hate
air.
when people say chuggy. Like you were talking about chuggy the other day,
Yeah.
Jonathan, and I
But
was
what
like,
is
that's what people call
chuggy?
it.
that's what people
Cringe.
call it when like millennials are cringy.
Oh,
I just thought it
Which-
meant generally cringy. I didn't realize you had to be millennial.
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I just like I can't believe that I'm gonna be 40. That's
I know.
so crazy.
I know.
Like
it's so
that
cringe.
happened so fast.
So
My
chuggy.
social media manager this weekend was having like a little bit of like a spiral, and she kept calling it a crash out. And she's super Cuban, and I was like, maybe this is like a language barrier thing. And then I keep seeing it everywhere on the internet that like
Yeah.
youngins are calling it a crash out when you have like a mental health dilemma or something like that.
No, it's
Interesting.
true. I just can't even believe that. Wow. I just can't believe I'm not like 23 anymore.
I
I
know.
I
It's
still feel so
depressing.
young.
Do you turn 40 this year, Jonathan?
No.
That's a
Thanks,
2026
Matt.
problem.
I turned 40 this year.
I know. I'm so sorry. No, that like, but that's amazing, and I love that. Yeah, no, but I'll turn 40 the year after next.
Okay.
Yeah, just for clarity sake, just in
Yeah.
case anyone cared. But you'll be fine. It's gonna be great that you're 40
and
this
I'm
year.
the youngest on the call. I just have to say it out loud.
No, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good.
Just by a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
What were your cars' names growing up?
Betsy.
Betsy.
Actually,
Yes.
I
Mine-
asked because Olivia Newton-John is the star car of the book.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
But that was
okay.
just because we like her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Mine
Yeah.
was to be the Toyota.
What,
I
the
drove
Toyota?
I drove a 1983 Toyota Camry. That was my first car. This was in like 2004. This car was old. And no, not 2004, probably like 2002. And it was a navy blue Toyota Camry, like Toyota Corolla, whatever it is. And it had like the seat belts, like the automatic seat belts that like buckle you in. And someone had painted a racing stripe along the side that was yellow with house paint.
Oh,
She was
I love
great.
that.
She lasted me a good long while until I realized that you have to get the oil changed in your car. And then she died because I never got the oil changed. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Dang.
I know.
I had a Grand Marquis Lincoln Mercury, and her name was Ethel Merman.
Oh.
She was like a little old lady. She was green. And at some point, her AC stopped working, and I grew up in Florida. And so I was like, she's got to go.
Yeah, swamp ass.
Yeah. And my dad sold it to one of my cousins who, like a second cousin, and the windows also stopped rolling down. So the cousin like drove it around in the Florida heat without the window. It was
Nightmare.
Yeah.
nightmare. Anyway, Olivia Newton-John made me think about Ethel Merman, and I was very
Yeah, we
excited.
love Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
I know. R.I.P. to her too.
Okay.
Speaking of Olivia Newton-John, there is fabulous queer history throughout the whole book. I feel like you need like a coloring book follow-up that has all of the key people from the book.
Love
What
it.
is- Yeah.
I told you my tarot card told me I'm full of ideas.
Yeah.
They're really good.
I love it.
What was that? What was the importance of that for you? Of sort of educating the children?
Jonathan pitched. Okay, so Jonathan had this original idea for the book
Yeah.
and was like, and then I want it to be full of queer history. And I was like, baby, that's you. Because I am familiar with the musical Six, and that's about as far as my history is.
What?
I just never dialed in on history. And I know that Jonathan, like you, like that's what I mean. Okay, so now your podcast is called Getting Better, but it was called Getting Curious. And like so much of your podcast, like starting out, was just things that you were excited and curious about. And a lot of that was history. So Jonathan had like interviewed so many queer historians.
I mean, I've literally interviewed like, I think dozens of them over the years, but I think overall it was like, I didn't know that there was so much resplendent queer history until I was like in my early 30s. Like I really didn't know. And I was shocked to find out that there was so much like just right in our backyard. Like it just was like coded and like called different things. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me with, well, for us with Rufus but it was really me because Julie was having to like figure out how to like harness the neurodivergence. But Rufus really could have been from so many places and so many different times. And they were like, Rufus changed forms so many times as we were writing this book, because Rufus could have been trans masc from like the early, like from like the United Kingdom. Rufus could have been trans femme from like the Northeast. Like
Rufus, the ghost who comes out of the bag.
Yes,
Just
you guys.
for
Rufus is the
context.
ghost
Yeah,
who's haunting the purse. The haunted handbag.
Yeah.
So that was really fun, was like kind of just figuring out like when did we want Rufus to come from and who do we want Rufus to be and who do we want Rufus to represent. But Rufus's story is based off of like a few different stories that really happened from drag performers from like the Northeast in the 1900s.
Was there anything
mid 20th century?
That's the third accent we've gotten today so far.
Oh, that must mean that I really am out of it.
Dialed in.
Is that not normal? What?
Well, I do love a little accent, but I think
Your husband is
British.
has one, right?
Actually, you guys, I will tell you this. When we got married, we got married in like June of 2020. And then it was like August of 2021 where I was like, wait a minute. Have I been speaking in a British accent with you exclusively at the house for the last year and a half? And Mark was like, yes. And like, when is it going to be over? And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been talking like this nonstop at home for over a year. And like, I really had to like force and relearn my, like stop talking in a British accent. And every time we play Fortnite with our British friends, I slip into it. Like and it's not good and it's not consistent. And the worst thing a British person can do, like a new British person can do, is like tell me that it's good, because
They
you
keep
just
doing
stop.
it.
Yes.
I'm so like self-conscious of my British accent.
Oh, can we hear? I don't think I've ever heard it.
No, that's why you're never going to hear it. It's because I'm
Why?
so self-conscious. Because I don't know, like my husband's family is all in like Scotland and some are like in England.
Like, they're not going to listen to this podcast. Just fucking whip it out. Just try it.
You know what I
do?
do?
Say.
Listen, I pretend I'm Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins, and so I just because that's how terrible my British accent is. So I'm like, "Hello, Mary
That's what
Poppins."
Mark says mine sounds like.
Hello, Mary Poppins.
That's nice.
Yes.
No, it's not nice.
You should say Can I have a portion of beans, please?
Can I have can I have a portion of beans, please?
Yeah, that's nice.
It is
Yeah.
really nice. Mark is probably just like dying right now.
I feel like Julie's literally blushing. I've never seen you full blush. You're so cute.
Listen, fun things happen on Gaze Reading.
Yeah.
We do British accents. Oh my God.
We
Mark is
express
so
our
cute
neurodivergence
too.
in its fullest form, which is great. We
Yes.
celebrate and
Yes.
welcome it.
Okay, Julie, you said 6 was your most queer history-ness that you
Yeah.
knew. We love 6. Great. Good car singing. Is there something in particular that you remember learning through the process that was interesting to you?
Oh yeah. I mean, so originally when we talked about this book, we had talked about the concept of like working in the concept of female husbands. And I had no idea what female husbands were. And I think that most people don't. So I think that Jonathan should tell everyone what female husbands are. But before we do that, I should just like clarify that like I went to like a really super crazy Christian religious school growing up. So like my history was like the Bible. And then whatever I could piece together once I started going to school. Like I remember I took a geology class in college and I was like, what? Are you telling me we've had dinosaurs for so long? What's going
It's not 10,000 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Big Bang, what?
Listen.
Yeah.
It's never
so-
too late.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Jonathan, female husbands.
Female husbands were like these like, well, but Julie, what was it? What is something that I've like spewed off to you about queer history that you thought? But you thought that the whole female husband story was interesting.
I did think the whole female husband story was interesting, but what's crazy about female husbands is it's just like such like a niche thing that like really did exist in a really specific window of time. So,
Which was like basically was like from it was like the long 19th century. Like you would find like these articles about like female husbands, and it happened in the United Kingdom and the US. And it would be like a straight couple where the man was found out to really be a woman. And so it was like these like men or these like women who were like transing gender. And they like the historians who I talked to about that were like, we don't really assign them like trans because like they didn't call themselves that then. So, but they will say that they're like transing gender. And that was from an episode that we did on Getting Curious with Jen Mannion, who's an incredible historian and writer who I think is like amazing. But then there was like episodes that I did on like World War II era queers, like gay Navy men from like the 1800s. Like there was like, then there was like, there's just been like literally queers from all like from different centuries, different decades, like in American and European culture that I've had on the, or from that I've learned about on the pod where I was like, Rufus could be from so many places, but female husbands really intrigued me. But then it was really hard for me to write from like the perspective of a trans masc person and like understand it as well. And it was like hard for me to connect with his character like that. And so then I was like, let me do a queen from the 50s because McCarthyism and the Lavender Scare is like rich and major and there's like so much there. And so that's kind of why we decided to go with Rufus and make them be from the 1950s and be a female impersonator.
Yeah.
Another thing I really loved that you talk about sometimes is when you had a historian on and you told the historian that you thought you were like the only gay person that had come out of like Quincy, Illinois. And that historian brought like some sort of like magazine or something like that to their interview with you. And there was like a little wanted ad sort of in this magazine that was
like a personals ad from the 60s. And this guy was from my hometown, like looking for like a date, basically.
It's so interesting because I went to school in Chicago, and an administrator, one of the deans, was never in a relationship, and then retired, comes out of the closet, meets this guy, and they move to Quincy, Illinois, and they're like retired little old gays in Quincy, Illinois, which is so interesting. Yeah.
Adorable.
So not only is there history, but there's also future.
Current.
Yeah. Love. Okay, in our last little bit together, Let Them Stare, the title of the book. It's the opposite of being afraid to be seen for who you are. And I can imagine the three of us on this call at some point in our lives were afraid to be seen for who we were. And Let Them Stare is this like declaration. And I'm just curious to hear what it means for each of you.
Yeah. Oh, I can jump in, Jonathan, if you.
No,
or-
please.
So for me, Let Them Stare is sort of like people are going to look anyways. So why not let them stare? Because the more that we let people look and the more that we normalize like different types of people, the more normal just in general it becomes to people. So really that's what Let Them Stare means to me. Like the more we let people stare, the more they will find that there's nothing really to stare at.
Right. I was going to say, you said, I think the idea of it's not about more normal. It's about that we're all just individual.
Yeah. I think like I always think back about how like when I go places and do like talks about body positivity and fat positivity, I'm constantly telling people to diversify their social media feeds because like just the more types of people you see, the less unusual it feels to you to see different types of people.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice.
So
BRB. Gotta go follow a gajillion different looking people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Jonathan, what about you?
I think it's what Julie said and how she spoke to Let Them Stare, I think is so good. I think one thing that really rings out for me in Sully's story, who's like the main character of the book, is their relationship with their mom, Eleanor. And I think that part of what is so special and was so special to write in this story is like their relationship. And I think so much of how Sully was able to kind of know who they were is because they have such a supportive mom, or like such a supportive parent. You know, it doesn't matter if it's like a mom, just a parent. And so I think that's really what I would like, that just like stands up for me with like, or stands out to me about Let Them Stare is like part of why Sully could withstand the intense scrutiny of their hometown is because they had a good support system, and just how important that is. And so many queers don't have that at home. And I think the more that we can be supportive of each other, because we never know like what other queers are going through, like let's be each other's family in a time when we just have like less allies. And so I think it's even more important for queers to like stick together and show up for each other, because it is like icky out there right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think sort of to piggyback on that, a huge the heart of the book is this concept of do something about it. Right. So it's let them stare, but also if you want to change something in the world, don't just sit around and wait for it.
Yes, you better crack that case.
Yes, crack that case. Write in your speckled notebook and figure it out. Oh my God.
I mean, and also it's like, it really, I feel like we didn't talk about the book that much. Whoops, but this is so fun. But it really is like, if you want like a fun, little mysterious, like queer history, like heartwarming, fun, easy read, like this is like a fun, like my girlfriend Dylan is obsessed with it. A lot, like a little inner circle that read it before it came out was like obsessed. So it is YA, but like, I think if you're a millennial queer, you will enjoy this book too.
100%. They're also, for me as a young millennial queer, the book was How I Paid for College by Mark Aceto. It has a lot of musical theater references. It came out like in the 2000s. That was my Let Them Stare. And yes, it is so delightful. Every episode has a guest gay reader as a second segment. And Dylan was a guest gay reader on Gays Reading and shouted out Let Them Stare. So this has been in the gays reading world for a long time. We love Dylan Mulvaney.
We love Dylan.
And today's guest gay reader is Alison Bechdel.
Yes.
So
shut up. Oh my God, sorry. I'm like the Alison Bechdel.
The Alison Bechdel. Yes.
Oh my God. Well,
coming up after this section. I've already talked to her. Otherwise, I would ask if you had anything you wanted to ask.
Julie?
I mean, I might have to. Like,
You're obsessed.
Bechdel. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know her musical, Fun Home?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't only know 6.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been so fun.
Also,
everyone.
Sorry for your false alarm getting ready the other day. We love you, and we're so glad that you had us. And we had so much fun talking to you.
I had so much fun talking to you too. And honestly, like truly, the false alarm was a really great conversation starter and so needed. So truly, everyone go get Let Them Stare by Jonathan Van Ness and Julie Murphy. It is so delightful. You're going to love it. And now stay tuned for Alison Bechdel.
Guess gay weird time.
I don't believe
But
it.
Jason, this is like a new incarnation for you. I've met you. You used to work for Mandy Hackett, right?
You did your research. Look at you.
I was like, that's a familiar name. And I looked at my email, and there was all these emails with you about showing up for certain things at the Public Theater.
That is so funny. So I gave you, and I assume Holly, a tour of the building after the very first workshop of Fun Home.
Yeah. That was a very intense day. I'm amazed I remember anything from that, man.
That's so funny. I know I like very distinctly remember that. And I was like, to now see you in this context is very odd to me because at the time I wasn't really a reader. I'm excited that our paths are crossing again.
Yeah, me too. I just listened to a couple episodes to see what you do, and it's a great show.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Well, Alison Bechdel, you are here as my guest gay reader. It is an honor. It is a pleasure. It is hilarious to me because of the way that Fun Home has come in and out of my life in such important ways, how you have weirdly come in and out of my life at different times as well. Alison, I have to know, what are you reading?
Well, I've been thinking about this, and the sad truth is my reading life has been very curtailed lately.
Yeah.
I started teaching last fall, and who knew how hard that was?
What are you teaching?
Holy smokes. I'm teaching comics, teaching 2 classes of how to draw comics.
It would have been really awkward if you accidentally were teaching stand-up comics.
Yes.
You were like, wait a minute, wrong person.
Very much the wrong person. But it was a crazy experience. I started teaching for the first time ever, like in my 60s, last fall, at the same time that I was finishing my new book, which I suppose we'll talk about in a second. And it was the most intense pressure I've ever experienced in my life, like learning this new thing about how to teach, how to every day have to invent a new class and all these, like, I have to have a website for each class, and I have to keep track of the students and their assignments and keep thinking up more assignments. It was insane. And every spare minute that I wasn't teaching, I was working on this book. I was rushing back to my little garret. That's where I am now, like a monk on my little slant board. And 1 week into September, I had to stop reading anything at all except necessary stuff. I was in the middle of this great biography of William James that came out like many years ago. I can't even think of the author's name. It's a great biography. But I had gotten to this point. I was about 3/4 of the way through, and Henry James, William's brother, had a nervous breakdown in the book. His New York edition of all his works had just been published, like 4 beautifully bound volumes, and they weren't selling. And Henry just felt like a failure. And he had a breakdown. And I myself felt so close to a breakdown in that moment that I had to set the book aside. And I have not read anything purely for fun since then, 7 months ago.
How do we rectify that? That's okay.
Well, they read a lot. I don't want to say it's compulsory or required reading, but I read for my classes, I read for my work. And I also do a lot of reading for writing blurbs. This is something I don't hear writers talk about, but a lot of the stuff I read is stuff that hasn't even come out yet. So I have read a couple really great books that I blurbed. Want me to talk about those?
Sure. You can talk about those. It's good for people to add things to their TBR list. Or I also am fascinated by things that people are reading that are not books, right? If you also wanted to, what are you scrolling through that brings you joy? Or because we're all reading on a daily basis, whether it's
oh my God, yeah, reading so much.
But no, tell me, what is something that you've read that we should look forward to?
The cartoonist Mimi Pond has written an amazing biography of the Mitford sisters that will be coming out, I think, in the fall.
Uh-huh.
Do you know about the Mitford sisters?
No.
Oh my God, I didn't either, but whoa. There are these 6 sisters born in England around the time of World War I. And by the time World War II rolled around, they were all adults and they were nuts. They were just crazy. they were socialites, and one of them became a fascist, and one of them became not a socialite, but a socialist, a communist, in fact, and went off to fight with the Republicans in Spain. And oh my God, these sisters were amazing. And between the 6 of them, they like interacted with every major figure of the 20th century, from Hitler. One of them hung out with Hitler, to JFK, to Martin Luther King. It was incredible. Anyhow, Mimi Pond has drawn a beautiful graphic biography of this crazy family.
Fascinating. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, I think maybe doing that as a comic book, like as a visual narrative, is the only way to wrangle so many characters and time spans. But that was really cool.
You talked about the imminent mental breakdown being the thing that made you put a book down 7 months ago. Has reading for blurbing brought any sort of joy or distracted you in a positive way? Or does that also feel like work? Because I know lots of authors who read for blurbing and they're like, oh my God, I just have so many blurb books to get through.
Yeah, I certainly did take pleasure in this book, but it's different when you have to do it. You're not reading it at your own pace. That thing's due in a week, and that changes it somehow. So I'm trying to figure out how to make time for free range reading of stuff I just want to do on my own. And that's just been a big struggle for a long time.
When you are reading for fun, regardless of when that's happening, what do you like to read?
For pure fun, I guess I like detective stories.
Oh, this was not where I thought this was going. Tell me more.
What did you think I was going to say?
You brought up the biography, and that feels
I do
very...
love a good biography.
Well, no, sure. That doesn't surprise me. But like for you to like, you very specifically said detective stories is what you go to for pure fun. Which is funny that you say pure fun versus like fun. What's the difference between me saying fun and pure fun?
Life is so difficult these days. It's a very, very scary time. And it's hard to find ways to completely like decompress, just shut down my brain. Crossword puzzles only take you so far.
Drugs.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from the drugs. I'm reading this sort of guilty pleasure right now for my bedtime reading, because I can't read anything at bedtime that is at all substantive, or God knows I would never sleep. And this is a book. It's a whole series that it's been happening for 30 years. It's by Laurie King. She writes about this woman who becomes the apprentice of Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
And solves all these cases with him. And it's just fun and crazy. And I loved Sherlock Holmes as a kid, so it's fun.
I love Sherlock Holmes stories too. That's so fun. I love a good detective story. Okay. So you are reading something.
I'm reading
bedtime
something.
reading.
Yeah, that's my bedtime reading.
Are you like a read 3 pages and pass out immediately kind of person?
Here's the thing. I have been, but given our troubled times, it's taking me a lot longer to zone out. But I discovered this new thing. At the school where I'm teaching, they give us this app called Calm, which it's much cheaper than having to provide therapy for all the employees. Have you ever explored this? It's one of those like mental
I've done like
health.
I think I've done the 7-day free trial.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
it's pretty pricey, but I get it for free. And they tell you these bedtime stories, these sleep stories, as they call them. And I have discovered that they really knock me out.
Perfect.
I'm not trying to read. I don't have my eyes open and looking at I read on a Kindle at night. I used to read on books, but those are quite cumbersome in bed. So I got onto the Kindle, and now I don't even need the Kindle. I just have my phone next to my head.
Yes. Oh, you don't even put headphones in. You just have it playing next to you.
Well, if I'm alone, if I'm with my partner, I have to put on, you get all tangled up in them. I have a separate apartment at this place where I'm teaching, so I can just take the whole bed up. Anyhow, do we really need to go into all that? Sorry.
I'm obsessed. This is the joy of the podcast, is we can fall down whatever rabbit holes we want to. I love imagining you like starfishing on a bed by yourself in your apartment with your phone next to your head, listening to a calm sleep story, zonking out.
Yeah, someone figured something out with these stories. And the beauty is I can listen to the same one over and over and over. And one of my favorite sleep stories is about a train journey from Trondheim, Norway up the coast and back. And I just keep listening to it.
Because you don't know what happens at the end because you keep
I
falling
know,
asleep.
yeah, I rarely can make it through to the end.
So it's a mystery every time.
But it's a funny kind of, is it reading? I don't know if it counts as reading, but you can't write anything interesting or compelling or it will keep people awake.
Yeah.
So it's written
that's
expressly to be dull, and it's a very curious form.
That is such a specific niche market, and like, I feel like I could do that.
Oh, you could. You have a soothing voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you could.
I just
do
mean like
this.
I could write stories that are boring. The stakes are low as the story writer.
You could write them and read them, and then you get double the royalties.
Yes. Genius. Now you have to get 10%.
15.
Oh, she drives a
Sorry.
hard bargain. Alison, I'm like, holding this in my hand is very special. I'm obsessed. And also, I have the little companion piece that shows you what the color is going to be, because the color is spectacular in the book.
Yeah.
So your new book, Spent, a comic novel. I want to hear your elevator pitch, and then I will complain to you. What's your...
Okay. It's a sort of auto-fictional project. It's about a cartoonist named Alison Bechdel who runs a pygmy goat sanctuary in Vermont. So in some ways it's true and about my real life. I am a cartoonist named Alison Bechdel who lives in Vermont, but I do not run a pygmy goat sanctuary. I don't own one pygmy goat. So it's this very fun experiment in thinking about myself, but in a disguised way that's just purely fun and silly.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Curb Your Enthusiasm is a riff on the real Larry David, but more exaggerated, I assume.
And so it's this sort of like episodic journey through this time of this cartoonist.
Yeah, it's about, it's about the recent present. It takes place over the past couple of years. And the really fun part of the book for me is that it incorporates the characters from my old comic strip that I used to do in my youth. I, for many years, wrote this comic strip called Things to Watch Out For about this community of friends. And in this book, those people reappeared, and they're all in their 60s now, like me, and they're my friends who live down the hill in Burlington, Vermont. And it's this funny of my comic strip career and my memoir career. So it's part true and part made up in a really fun way.
And that is so funny to read as a reader who is very familiar with Fun Home. Because
Right.
I know this isn't true, but I know this is true. But I know this isn't true, but does Alison have a sister in real life? I don't think she does. But what's happened? The dialogue that's being said in the book would totally happen if she did have a sister.
I know. I feel like I've suffered this late in life realization that, oh my God, I've just told the world like my most intimate secrets. It's all out there. It's in these books. It's in this musical. And on some level, I'm trying to cover my tracks a bit, I think, trying to call into question what exactly is true and what isn't.
That's 100% what the experience of reading it was like. I was second guessing everything I already knew about you. In fact, I like literally flipped to the cover multiple times to like make sure it said novel.
That's funny.
But it is fun and it is stressful because it, as you said, takes place roughly now-ish in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And the world is falling apart and burning.
Yeah. And I finished it. It's hard to say when I finished the writing versus the drawing, but I completed the book like in November, like just before the election.
Oh, cool.
I don't know what was going to happen. I had to leave open the possibility for what actually did happen, which is making me excited for the sequel.
Is there going to be a sequel?
I hope so, because it's the only thing that's going to keep me sane in this current landscape.
Yeah, I fully agree and appreciate that. What is your process like? You said finished drawing versus finished writing. How do you work?
It's funny because I work in different ways depending on what I'm doing. When I was writing memoirs, writing Fun Home, and then I wrote a couple more memoirs after that. It's very much a process of discovery, and you don't know what's going to happen. I can't like schedule it. It's just doing the work and hoping it comes together. But this book, Spent, is much more like my comic strip, where I was just building a narrative like a fiction writer would, just telling a story and making sure it fit together, which is in some ways much easier. And you can kind of schedule it like, okay, I'm going to write this chapter this month. I'm just going to do it. But that's the writing. And as I'm writing, I'm also envisioning the images. I write in a drawing program. So I'm like playing around with the page and what goes where on the page. And then comes the fun part at the end where I actually do the drawing and bring it all to life.
So the drawing always happens after you've written words.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to draw if I hadn't plotted it out.
Yeah. I think with some writers in theater, they'll pull together a group of actors and give them a scenario and just have them act things out. And you figure it out in 3 dimensions and then you put pen to paper. So I didn't know if you were to ever doodle something and see what your pen did that then inspired something.
Some people do that. I was actually just on a panel with Peter Cooper, who just wrote an amazing graphic memoir about insects. And
cool.
He was talking about how he sometimes didn't know what was even going to happen on the next page. He was just drawing it. So some people do that. I can't work like that.
Was it fun?
It was fun, which is really a change of pace for me. Normally my work is quite excruciating.
Say more. Why?
I don't know, because I don't know where it's going. I think that while that's an exciting process, trying to learn something about myself or learn something about the other writers and thinkers I'm bringing into my memoir work, it's all unknown, and that's stressful. I've never found a way to just be easy with that. And this, to a certain extent, that was true of this book too. You never know what's going to happen, if you're going to be able to figure out how to land anything. But it was fun and funny. It was basically just a comic strip, like an extended comic strip. And I really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad to hear that. Are you inspired to raise goats?
They're very cute. They're very appealing, but my partner, Holly, actually can't abide goats. Part of the inspiration for the goats was my grandfather was a goat herd, and Holly, my partner, was a goat herd in her youth. So it's just this funny kind of, there is a slight autobiographical connection. But Holly learned from that experience that she really cannot abide goats.
I can't believe this is happening live on a recording. High on a Hill was a lonely goat herd. In my mind, it was a herd of goats. But you are saying a goat herd is the person who is herding the goats.
Yeah, but actually, I saw The Sound of Music with my grandfather when I was 4 and he was 70, and he sobbed at that scene. High on a Hill was a lonely goat herd.
Because he was the lonely goat herd.
He grew up in the Alps herding goats, and he hadn't been back since he'd never gone back.
Oh my God. But in my mind, like a herd of High on a Hill was a lonely goat herd is a group of goats, but I never thought about it as being a person.
It's the herd.
Your grandfather is the lonely goat herd.
Yes. Did you have any idea this was going to come around to The Sound of Music?
I didn't. And funnily enough, my episode that released today, also The Sound of Music comes up.
I was recently watching The Sound of Music one night, not so long ago, desperately trying to find something that was going to calm me down. And it is terrifying. You can't watch it now.
No.
Oh my God.
The Nazis come at the end, Alison.
The Nazis come. Edelweiss.
No.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Maybe it's important to watch it so that we know what to do.
Yeah, maybe Nibs.
Right. We're going to just sing our way out of town. Oh, God. A new question that I've been asking everybody, because this to me is important. It is a time to amplify people that we love, who are important to us. If you were to die tomorrow, who is deleting your search history on your computer?
Wait.
And it can't be Holly. Who are you entrusting to delete your search history? In this moment, who's so special to us that we trust with our lives and our secrets?
How about Fran Lebowitz? I would trust her.
Do you know Fran, or are you just going to ask
No,
her?
but I don't know her, but I just saw her perform, and I was so impressed. She was like sharp as a whip.
I'm obsessed
I love
with her.
And I would totally trust she could have the whole keys to everything.
I hear you. You're not wrong. My issue with her is a very real, high stakes logistical problem. She doesn't own a computer, and I don't know that she would know how to do it.
My God, you're right. She would have no idea how to do that.
Right.
She'd probably leave off to the Doge people.
But the instinct is good. I appreciate it. We can amplify Fran Lebowitz. She's doing important work in other ways.
Okay.
Though,
Maybe she could have like an intern help her.
Yes. 100%. That's a great, right. Fran Lebowitz's intern is who we're asking. It's probably like Steven or something. Or like Linda. Yeah. I could see her intern name being Linda. Anyway. Alison, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for everyone to check out Spent, the new
Thank you.
Alison Bechdel comic novel. Not memoir.
Yeah, comic, get it? Comic in both senses.
Yes. Don't be confused. She does not have a sister in real life. I did have moments. I Googled it twice.
That's great.
I was like, I am 100% sure, but I need to be 110% sure. Because there is this moment in the book where you're like, this is why I didn't put you in my memoir. I was like, oh my God, does she actually have a sister that no one knows about? You sent me on a journey, Alison.
I'm so glad, Jason.
Congratulations. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being my guest gay reader today.
Thank you. It was a delight. And I'm going to keep listening.
Jonathan, Julie, Alison, thank you all so much for being here today. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Go check out the Pride Guide on the Gays Reading Substack, and I will see you next week. Bye.